So we've already looked at how England did at Euro 2020 on our Football Manager 2015 simulation, and now it's time to look at the rest of the tournament. Just like it's meant to in the real world, Euro 2020 took place all over Europe in 16 different countries, although for some reason Hampton Park wasn't listed despite hosting most of England's games, which is pretty weird. Anyway, the top two of each group advanced, as well as the top four third place teams, which is a terrible rule really, as most of the third place teams only had 3 points and it was just a goal difference battle. So are the groups, and Group A included one of the home nations, Northern Ireland. Sadly they would come bottom of the group after losing all 3 games. It wasn't too tough a group though either, with Croatia and Ukraine coming out on top, whilst Greece were eliminated alongside the Northern Irish. Group B included the other Irish, but the Republic were much more successful. They were actually able to win a game, beating Romania 2-0 in the opening game, which effectively secured qualification by virtue of being one of the best third place sides. Belgium and Austria finished above them in what was one of the tightest groups of the tournament. Group C was a bit more straightforward, with Spain and Portugal coming out on top as expected. Spain qualified with flying colours, but Portugal's route was a bit trickier. However, 4 points was enough to see them through ahead of Norway and Turkey. Group D featured no draws, Italy topped it with 3 wins, Denmark were second with 2 wins, Armenia were third but their 1 win got them into the knockout round, while little old Sweden were bottom of the pile after losing every game. We've already looked at Group A as that was England's group, and as we already know it was top 5 France, with England coming second after beating the other 2 teams in the group, Czech Republic and Wales, who followed up their epic 2016 campaign by crashing out of the group stage 4 years on. Although then again, I suppose that never would have happened considering this is Football Manager 2015. Anyway, on to the final group, Group F, and the one which I think had to be considered the group of death, and it also brought about the only shock of the group stages. Germany were top of the pile after winning all 3 of their games, but the battle for second was much tighter. In the end it was Serbia who won it, with Poland in third qualifying for the knockout round by goal difference. And in fourth place, amazingly, it was the Netherlands, who only picked up a single point. So that's the group stages out of the way, let's move on to the knockouts. The first second round tie was between Ukraine and Portugal, and this would go to extra time despite Bruno Fernandes scoring in the 7th minute. In the end it was Ukraine who advanced, with Andrei Yarmolenko getting the winner in the 112th minute. Belgium's path to the quarters was much clearer, easing past Armenia 2-0 thanks to goals from their 2 main men, Eden Hazard and Kevin De Bruyne. Having gotten through after coming third, the Republic of Ireland were paired alongside Italy, and they nearly caused an upset. Shane Long cancelled out Mario Balotelli's opener, however Lorenzo Insigne would win it in extra time, breaking Irish hearts out in Brussels. The Irish played brilliantly though, and more than held their own. The same can't be said for Croatia though, who after topping Group A were smashed 3-0 by third place qualifier Czech Republic. Spain continued their bright tournament with a 2-1 win over Poland, with first half goals from Saul Niguez and Diego Costa enough to beat the Poles. And then it was England's turn, and the Three Lions were completely humbled against Germany, with some bloke called Schwab netting a hat-trick. As I said before, it was that weird Germany team where none of the players actually exist, but by the time I realised it was too late to fix it. But on we go, and France were able to come from behind to beat Denmark in their second round tie, with Karim Benzema and Florian Thauvin getting the goals. When you compare this French team to the one that actually won the World Cup in 2018, it's dead different. Both Griezmann and Pogba are on the bench, while they've got Kondogbia, Gonalons and Grenier starting in midfield. It's madness. Tie of the round came courtesy of Austria and Serbia, and it was the Austrians who advanced to the quarters, winning 3-2 in Bucharest. Luka Jovic did get a goal for Serbia though, proving that FM15 knew all about his potential back in the day. We're starting to get down to the nitty gritty now, and Belgium and Germany kicked off the quarterfinals with a titanic affair that was settled in extra time. Despite the best efforts of Belgium's golden generation, it was the German nobodies who won it, with a man called Benjamin Schneider settling the tie in the 115th minute. On the same day Italy put in a typical Italian performance against Ukraine. They were rock solid and dominant, with Alessio Romagnoli's early goal from a corner winning it. Although after watching the goal it was something of a fluke really. The way the tournament was set out meant the 2 underdogs met for a place in the final 4, and it was Czech Republic who would win it over Austria, meaning the third place qualifiers were now just 1 game away from the final, on the brink of a real Cinderella story. Then finally, 2 of the tournament's elite sides would meet in the final game, with Spain and France doing battle in the Olimpico in Rome. And it was the French who would come out on top, thanks to Jeremy Menez in the 64th minute. It was a tight game, but it was France who edged it into the semi-final. Their journey wouldn't end there, with France flying into the final with ease. They would smash the Czech Republic 3-0 to cement their place in the final, and it was a Florian Thauvin brace with a Tony Martial goal sandwich in between that won the game for them. The other semi-final was a much closer affair, but it was Italy who won it, thanks to a late brace from Domenico Berardi. He levelled things up in the 83rd minute, then he went one better in stoppage time, sending Italy into the final with a 92nd minute winner. That meant it was Italy and France in the final, a repeat of the 2006 World Cup final, but without the distraction of Zinedine Zidane headbutting the soul out of Marco Materazzi. And it was arguably the game of the tournament. Italy would race into a 2-goal lead after 80 minutes thanks to goals from Lorenzo Insigne and Brian Cristante, but with half an hour to go the French were level. Regen Diallo half the deficit, then that man again, Jeremy Menez, levelled the game in the 61st minute. From there the game went into extra time, and Italy's hero in the semi stepped up once again, as Domenico Berardi scored his 5th goal of the tournament, making it 3-2, and ensured it was Italy who lifted the 2020 European Championship. So there we go, that was the whole Euro 2020 tournament, but before we go we'll have a quick whiz through the awards. Ukrainian winger Andrei Yarmolenko was named player of the tournament with an average rating of 8.63, while the golden boot went to France's Florian Thauvin. He scored 5 times, just like Hazard and Berardi, but it was the former Newcastle winger who got the golden boot, and to be honest I don't really know why. Anyway, finally we've got the team of the tournament, and of course it was dominated by Italians. In goal was Simone Scoffet, and then from right to left the back four consisted of Regen Livio Rea, Alessio Romagnoli, Leonardo Panucci and Frenchman Lucas Digne. Then in midfield we had player of the tournament Yarmolenko, Spain's Isco, a second Frenchman in Paul Pogba, who must have just been on the bench for that one game only, and on the left was Czech Republic's Ladislav Krejci. Then up top it was the 2 Italians, Lorenzo Insigne and the man of the hour Domenico Berardi. So there we go, that's all we need to know about Euro 2020 according to our Football Manager 2015 simulation. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo, and until next time we'll see you around.